Ladies and gentlemen, in order to be successful for today's instruction, you need to have 2 sheets of paper, 3 essays, 6 handouts, and everyone should be working on the rubric. You guys chose number 3. Isn't that exciting? Are we excited?
Yeah.
I'm excited about it. I like 3. The other 2 classes picked 4. There's a package over there on David's desk. So, you should be writing down the rubric, please. You have 30 seconds. Five. I'll give you a little longer. 'Here we go. Please listen carefully to the instructions. You are to take your essay number 3, put it underneath your rubric. Make sure your name's on the rubric, right? Does that make sense? And hand it to someone who has not graded one of your essays, please. Hand it to someone who has not graded the essay. I see you, Annie. She doesn't want me to grade it. So she doesn't want me to pull it from you. That's why. Here we go. You are trading it with someone who... Do you see how broken she is? Do you see how broken she is? Here we go. Every single person should have someone else's essay in front of them.
I don't have somebody's essay.
Oh, Hannah, where's yours? Alright, we got it. You are wasting your time. I cannot push enough, ladies and gentlemen, that the faster we move in class, the faster and better your lives are at home. Because it's easier to pull an essay together if it's planned, yes? So let's get to it then. So, of course, at the bottom of your rubric, you've written your name. So I know who is grading who. Here we go. Let's look at our prompts. So, question number 3. Yay, how exciting. Okay, minority representation in Congress is the prompt. Okay, so in 1960, there were... Oh, that's number... You are so right. Thank you. I can't read. Thank you. Yeah, that would not make your answers work, would it? Let's try number 3. You know, the question we're grading. Here we go. The top state marginal individual income tax rates. Yes, income tax, which is the tax on how much money your parents make at their jobs. Okay, in 2018, okay, if it's crossed lines, it's really high. California, Oregon, and honestly, Minnesota kind of surprised me, yeah? Okay, then 7 to 9, so your second tier is this darker color, which kind of makes more sense to me, which, you know, New York makes sense. And then at the bottom, no income tax. Of course, that's the state of Florida. That's why everyone in New York has moved here. Texas, of course, which is the second busiest receiver of people moving, okay? And everyone's going to Wyoming right now. So, Alaska has no income, and Hawaii is high. Here we go. Respond to all parts of the question in your response. Use substantive examples where appropriate. Use the map to answer all of your questions. A, identify a state with income tax rate between 2 and 5%. So between 2 and 5% is this color. So you could have picked any of them, like Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, North Dakota, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama. So if they chose one of those, they could have had it. What's wrong? They got it wrong?
No, I got it wrong.
So they should have restated the prompt, okay, which says in a state with an income tax rate between 2 and 5%, then they just picked a state with that color. That's the answer. Questions about that one? You got it wrong? Jordan. Jordan. All right. B, describe a pattern on the map. Okay, describe a pattern on the map. So, what is a pattern that your person has identified from this map? Reagan. Liberal states have higher income tax is a good one, of course. Okay? You could also say liberal ones are the better ones, for sure. With the top tier ones, fine. You could also, on the flip side of that argument, say conservatives have lower income tax. Brooklyn.
Why is Idaho so much?
Well, Idaho is really dealing with a lot right now. I'm not really sure what Idaho's specifically issues are right now. But I was just watching a newspaper, not a newspaper, I don't read the newspaper, I'm in 2022. I was watching a YouTube thing about the murders. Have you heard about this? 4 21-year-old kids got murdered in their house in Idaho. It's like the first murder in like 8 years in this town, and they have 4 of them in one night. Moscow, which is also kind of funny for the day because Putin accidentally bombed Poland yesterday. So, here we go. We don't have time to talk about that. Or the time to talk about how Trump declared last night at 9:23 last night that he is officially running for office. So here we go. Okay. So, a trend that we can describe, liberals, Democrats. Ladies and gentlemen, when it's first two, it's usually pretty straightforward and very simple. Can we agree? Liberals and Democrats is a cheap answer, but it is a answer. It's not a great one, but it is a good one. Okay? You could have also argued your East Coasters, whatever. Okay. C, draw a conclusion about how the ideologies of political parties shape the patterns described in Part B. Here's the kicker, ladies and gentlemen. Whatever they say in Part B has to be used in C. Is everyone clear? So if they're talking about how conservative states are lower income states or no income tax states, then they have to continue that conversation. Is everyone clear? If they switch topics, it's wrong when you get to C. So, what are we seeing as arguments here, ladies and gentlemen? What are we seeing? No one has a good one? Come on, talk to me so we can move on. I'll put my feet down and I won't plan a damn thing, and that's not what you want. Sophia? Okay? But explain how the demographic changes shown in the map are likely to affect the way parties operate. Are we in C? Why am I looking at that one? Draw a conclusion about the ideologies of political parties shape the pattern. We're talking about how they shape the pattern. So no, that one does not score. Does not score. What would be a way that the Republican Party shapes this idea, or a way the Democratic Party shapes this? Ford. What? Public opinions? That doesn't make much sense. What terms should they have used instead of public opinion? That they are a welfare state, because liberals believe in welfare. Yes. You see how that's a better answer? Okay, liberals believe in welfare spending, ladies and gentlemen. It's throwing more money. So if they're going to throw more money towards education and all those things, they need to have more tax revenue, which is why they have higher income tax. Yes? Do we see the connections here? So those are the answers that we are looking for. So far, I have no correct answers. Does anyone have a correct answer? Reagan. Yeah.
Democrats believe in more government intrusion into following the smoothing higher taxes and welfare.
Democrats say that, or Republicans? Was their answer say Democrats? That's a great answer. Whose is it? Brooklyn, that's a great answer. Absolutely. Democrats are more involved into the economy, so their taxes are higher. Absolutely, that's a great answer. You know those answers, don't you? Mm-hmm. What I just told you about liberals have a welfare state. We literally wrote an essay about that, yeah? You know this stuff. I hope that you hear, when you hear the answers, it's not this convoluted, crazy thing you've never heard of. It's just thinking about your content in a slightly different way. What is another? Anyone else have a good answer? Come on. All right, Nick.
Eastern states have more
And what was the last part?
societal change.
No, because societal change is like a vague word. It's too vague, so that doesn't score. What else? Anyone have a good one? Come on. So there's a lot of zeros going out. Perfect. You are not giving points unless I approve it. For C. You are not giving points unless I approve it. Jimmy.
The ideologies of political parties shape this pattern because this area is primarily conservative.
What area?
The southeast.
Is that what they say in any part of C? Do they say it or no?
Yeah.
Do they say it in the answer of C?
Southeast.
Yes. Okay, then they can't score it. It's a 0. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to refer to a whole thing, you have to reference what time you're talking about, yes? So if you're talking about the East Coast, you say East Coast. If you're talking about conservative left states, that is a little bit more generic. But if you're talking about a specific region, you have to address it because they're telling you to use the map, yes? So use the... Riley.
The Northeast is liberal in that they believe in more taxes, so the average income tax is higher in the Northeast.
But they're not like saying anything. Like, they believe in taxes? Why do they believe in taxes? Do you think liberals are like, oh my God, it is almost tax season? Yes, I get to write a huge check to the government? Yes, do you think that's what they think? No, so no, 0. Britt.
More liberal people live on the west coast and the east because they support more government interference in the economy.
Well, yeah, we've already covered that answer, Britt. It's a weird way for them to say it, but we did cover that answer. Yes, Brooklyn.
My person said the exact same thing as Riley, but they gave public education as it.
Yes, public education is totally fine. That makes sense. Yes, a little bit more of a specific we'll pull it through. Selena. I mean, it's not wrong, but like, give them a 1 on correct answer because they're not like saying anything, but it's not wrong. Okay, evidence. They're supposed to be finding evidence. Evidence is a vocab term that is not liberals or conservatives, especially if that is your answer, yes? So, what pieces of evidence are we finding in C, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, welfare spending is good evidence. That was covered. Sophia. Capitalism is like a crappy one. So it would score, but it's like a crappy one. Okay, what else we got? Ian. No, you can't use evidence from it. If it's said in the piece, you cannot use it because it's given to you. No one else? What do you got, Sydney? Political socialization is beautiful. Whose evidence is that? Jake, how does he use it?
Political socialization in the states is the liberal states in the northeast and the conservative states in the south. Political socialization shall the parties look how they are.
Okay, so they're learning from each other to be okay. Fine. Good, Jake. That's a good answer. What else we got, Caesar?
It's
Tax liability. Yeah, that's fine. Tax liability will score. Yeah, I just had to check the prompt to make sure tax liability wasn't on there. That's what I was looking for. Jordan, you have a question?
For correctly explaining the A to B connection, would talking about the states being conservative and liberal, they didn't say that in, like they talked about the states' views in B, and then they connect the views to like liberal and Republican or conservative.
What? Question? What do you?
C.
Yeah. So the fact that they identify them as liberal, describe a pattern on the map.
The ideologies of the political parties shape the pattern described by the Midwestern and Southern states being on the conservative side, while the northern states are on the liberal side.
They're not saying anything. So no. They're not saying anything. There was nothing definitively new information in that piece. So no. Okay. D. Explain how state income tax rates, as illustrated on the map, demonstrate a varied perspective on economic policy making. Ooh, tricky. Yeah, this one is hard. Okay, so how does state income tax demonstrate a varied perspective on economic policies? Jimmy.
State income tax rates demonstrate varied perspectives on economic policy making by showing how different political parties fund their state governments differently. In places with high Democratic concentrations, there's more funding towards state taxes because they want to help support programs like welfare spending.
That's good. Whose is it? 4. That's a good answer. Man. Nice job. Sophia.
States that have higher income taxes are most likely leaning towards liberals, which want more government funding so they can intrude more into the economic.
Are you reading off your paper or are you telling me the answer you wrote? Because if the person who is grading your paper is not asking me, I don't want to hear it. I care about the person you are grading. Because the person who is grading you, who is not raising their hand, probably has already given you the points. Does that make sense? I want to know what the person you are grading. Does that make sense? Anything you want to share from them?
Liberal states that have higher income taxes support more government funding and economic policy making, while on the other hand, conservative states that have lower income taxes support laissez-faire economic policy.
But how do these varied perspectives on economic policy? That's fine. That would score. Okay? So, what we are going to see is that, okay, liberal states, another answer you should have answered, are going to prioritize things like food kitchens and higher spending on education. Those are things you should have pulled through. All right. Some of you have been done for like 15 minutes. So what is this evidence they scored 2 points on, Caitlin? What is their evidence for the final paragraph?
Which is how the economic policy making with regard to support of government-funded public programs. That was one of them.
What, public programs? Public programs won't score.
And then she also said,
Because public programs, if you say a public program's like the public broadcasting company, like PBS, that would score. But just saying public programs does not score. So that's a no-go. What are we seeing as evidence? Caesar. Fiscal policy absolutely scores. Ian. Welfare spending, yeah. Clark. Laissez-faire, I mean, is anywhere in the country or anywhere in the United States or anywhere in the world a true laissez-faire? No. I mean, it's fine. It technically would score. It's not a great one. What do you got, King? Entitlement programs is a bomb answer. Brooklyn. Food stamps. I like the dramatic flair to it.
Well,
That's fine. Food stamps would score. Selena? No, it doesn't because they. No, they say ideologies in it, so no, it doesn't score. It's in the actual prompt, so no go. Okay, what you are doing now is you are totaling it. It is out of 16. Ladies and gentlemen, you are writing 2 positives, 1 negative. If you have a stapler on your desk, Britt, you have one behind you. If you have a stapler on your desk, you need to staple your rubric on top of your essay. Dude, we're literally coloring as we're going. We're doing the same thing every single day. Brennan, come on, man. Do your job. So, every single person should be writing 2 positives, 1 constructive. If you have a stapler on your desk, you better be stapling. Let's go. Hello, Jimmy, you have some behind you. Let's go. You have 2 behind you. Pass one to Selena, please. Forward, pass it when you're done. Let's go. Come on, come on. You have a stapler. You need to staple it immediately and pass. You're writing 2 positive and 1 piece of constructive criticism. Brennan, super annoying. Also, Lucas, do you have yours colored? So you didn't think it was weird you had colored pencils on your desk and we do the same thing every day?
I thought we colored
The answers. Did you color the answers?
Oh no, I just
You dude, we
Well, I
do
thought
the
you
same thing every day. Yeah, so you do it on your thing.
yeah, like
That was the instructions. Did you do it all the way through?
I mean yeah, I did it for the
You didn't. There's one.
I did the second one, like it's hard to see the yellow, I didn't do it well. But it's there. It's there, I promise.
Here we go. Everyone should be stapling. As soon as you get a stapler, you need to pass it. Sophia, what's the problem? Okay, are you all done? Then pass it over. Pass it up to the front when you're done so we can put them away. Does anyone need a stapler? Jake, literally the person in front of you needs a stapler. Here we go. If you need to get, now, your 2 pieces of positive feedback and 1 piece of constructive criticism. Your constructive criticism is something they can address immediately. Like your handwriting was really hard to read. You did not provide good evidence. Those types of things. So get up and give the person their essay and tell them the positives and negatives. Go.
And if you did so yeah, I said like you did good at receiving them well, and I knew that the next time you the correct answer, like just try to find out.
You're supposed to talk to each other, Jake and Sydney. 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, please listen to the following instructions. These are actually going into Canvas. Please listen. If you feel like the grade you have been given by your peer is unjust, I'm happy to rescore it for you, but please listen to the procedure. I'm going to collect them now. I'm going to record them. And if you disagree with what the grade is, you're going to pluck it from your bin and put it in my drop-off box, and that tells me. Or you can just put it immediately into my drop-off box, and I will rescore. Is everyone clear? Now, if it's 1 point, should you bother me? No, because it'll make me cranky, and it's 1 point out of 16 points. Can we agree? But if you feel it's a couple of points and that it needs to be addressed, I'll happily fix it. Is everyone clear? Hello? Please pass. Let's go, Jordan. Your scored essays. Jordan is collecting your scored essays, so the ones with color. Right, Brennan? Britt is collecting your non-graded essays. Britt is collecting your non-graded. No. It's easier for me to record if they're separate. Everyone should have one sheet of paper on their desk and the 6 handouts left over. Okay, here we go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, tonight, this is your last night of 3 essays, though, so that's exciting, isn't it? It is exciting. Tomorrow you have essays, you just don't have 3. Because it's the long essay tomorrow.
And that'll be on Canvas, right? Because I have school visit.
Well, yes, I record videos and post them every single day, so yes.
How should I turn that in now?
You will turn it in person when you get back.
Oh, when I get back? Okay.
Everything is on paper during writing week. Okay. What I would like you to have on your desk is the piece of paper that says Government, AP Government Explained. Open it up to SCOTUS. Also, you need to have the SCOTUS comparison prompts. And a blank sheet of paper. Okay. Tonight, you are writing the 3rd and final FRQ. Tomorrow, you're writing an essay. Tonight, you're writing an FRQ, so it should be pretty short. SCOTUS stands for Supreme Court of the United States. This question is about comparing an unknown Supreme Court case to a court case you already know. You are not supposed to know the one that's on the test, but you should know the one they reference. I personally feel they're very generous in this one. Honestly, I think they're very generous to you guys by giving you the Supreme Court case you should know. They tell you what it is, and I think that's kind. You will be given a summary of a court case you don't know, and after the stimulus, you will see a question with ABC format. It is only 3 parts. It is progressive. It goes easier, then harder, just like all the other FRQ questions. Here we go. Take out your SCOTUS comparison prompts. Tonight for homework, you are doing number 2, number 4, and number 5. The faster we move, the better your quality of life is. So let's get it done. 6th period, got to number 4. Here we go. At the top, you're going to write SCOTUS. Number 2. Okay, McCutcheon versus Federal Election Commission. Alabama businessman Sean McCutcheon contributed $33,088 to 16 different candidates running for federal office in 2012. His donation exceeded the aggregate total campaign finance limit established by the Bipartisan Campaign Reform Act, or BCRA, of 2002. This law limited the total amount of political contributions that an individual could make in a given 2-year election period to federal candidates, federal political action committees, and political parties. In the subsequent case, McCutcheon versus Federal FEC, the court ruled in a 5-4 decision that limits on the amount of political contributions established by the BCRA are unconstitutional. The court held that contributing money to a candidate is an exercise of individual rights to participate in the electoral process, and restrictions on how many candidates and committees an individual may support is hardly a modest restraint to those rights. The government may no more restrict how many candidates or causes a donor may support than it may tell a newspaper how many candidates to endorse. So, respond to all parts of the question. In your response, use substantive examples where appropriate. Here we go. A, identify the civil liberty that is common in both Citizens United. This is the one I taught you. Do you see how they give it to you? You should have been reading it and been thinking, oh, this is Citizens United. Yes? Okay? They give it to you. There's no trick to which one. Now, and McCutcheon in the federal election. Now, if I was you, I would open up my notebook to my Supreme Court cases and find it. Now, going forward, in case you haven't been doing this, I would put all my Supreme Court cases together and all of my primary sources. Because your argumentative essay is entirely based on primaries that we did. Now, when you find United Citizens, pull it out. If you flip to the back of United Citizens, there's a box that asks you, what is the importance of this case? What is the constitutional principle? Why is it important? Those are the only 3 questions they will ask you in the SCOTUS questions. Isn't that nice? I've already condensed it to the most important things for you. That's why we did that. So, what is the civil liberty that is being tested in this piece? What is it? Jimmy? Freedom of speech. And what amendment is it, Jimmy? First Amendment. So, A, it's the First Amendment. Freedom of speech. Do you now understand why we did this for every court case? There's only 15 of them, which is why we did all 15 of them. B, explain how the decision in Citizens United versus FEC relates to the reasoning in McCutcheon versus FEC. So, looking at your Citizens United versus, everyone should be on the back of their Citizens United. What is the real outcome of the Citizens United court case? What is it allowed to occur for the first time, Riley? Do you not have it? That's fine. If you need to step outside, deal with it. What is it, Sydney?
The importance
Yeah, what is the big issue in Citizens United versus FEC?
that citizens believe that political advertisements and communications were not material different from government censorship and not allowed by corporations in the law.
Not allowed or allowed by corporations?
I wrote
No.
not allowed.
Guys, what is Citizens United saying? You can summarize Citizens United. Ian?
It gives complete access, it gives corporations liberty.
Yes, it is the right to donate. Both of these cases are the right to donate to the right to donate without limitations. Okay, but that's what both of these court cases are arguing. Can we agree? Okay, Citizens United argues that who has the right to donate as much as they want? Huh? Citizens no. Hi, look at the piece. Citizens United is looking at which one, Annie? Corporations can donate any amount they want. McCutcheon, which is the one you've never seen until today, is saying who should be able to donate anything they want. Britt? Individuals. I'm going to say citizens because we're in APGov. But yes, individuals works. Come on, guys. This is not that hard. The first 2 are supposed to be the easiest, yeah? Come on. C, explain how this decision of McCutcheon versus FEC can be used to support the participatory, pluralist, or elite model. C is always going to force you to tie it to a piece of content. Of course, we remember what pluralist versus elite is. And if you had to, what is pluralist talking about? Pluralist democracy model says what? Use your ability to reason and you can figure it out. What is it, Emily? Pluralist means what? Pluralist. More people. Look at you. You figured it out. Pluralist. So if it's pluralist democracy, Emily, what do you think it is? Yeah, more people should participate. Everyone has the right to democracy. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't remember the content when you get there, think about it logically and break down the words. Words have meaning. Words are important. They use words for a reason. Pluralist, plural, multiple, large, pluralist democracy. more people in the democracy. Okay? Everyone has a right to democracy and participate. Okay? So, if everyone has the right to a democracy and to participate, which Supreme Court case does this match? McCutcheon, people. Hello? Yes? Because McCutcheon says people should be able to do what they need to do to support the people. Yes? God, guys, it is not that hard. Here we go. On the other side, SCOTUS, number 2. This is our written answer. Not A. The civil liberty that is common in both Citizens United versus FEC and McCutcheon, or whatever it is, versus FEC, is the First Amendment protection of freedom of speech. B. Okay, the decision of Citizens United versus FEC relates to the reasoning of McCutcheon, or whatever it is, versus FEC, is about the protection of the right to campaign donations by challenging limits placed on it. Okay, so second sentence of it, Citizens United protected corporate rights to donate, while McCutcheon protects individuals. C. McCutcheon versus FEC can be used to support the pluralist model of democracy because it believes that everyone has the right to participate, influence, and donate in the democratic process. McCutcheon, or whatever it is, protects that right because it allows citizens to donate to many candidates, potentially placing more people in office. Okay, take out a separate sheet of paper. Let's go to 4. No point wasting time. Okay, 4. Betts versus Brady, 1942 and 1941. Smith Betts was arrested for robbery in the state of Maryland. Unable to afford a lawyer, he was denied a public defender by a judge and forced to represent himself. He was found guilty and given an 8-year sentence. In the ensuing case, Betts versus Brady, 1942, the Supreme Court ruled against Mr. Betts, who claimed his constitutional right to a fair trial was denied. In a 6-3 decision, the court held the right to the counsel applied to only criminal cases in federal courts, and that he did not have a right to counsel in a state court except in death penalty cases. Justice Black, in his dissenting opinion, responded, "This case can be determined by a resolution of a narrower question, whether, in the view of the nature of the offense and the circumstances of his trial and conviction, this petitioner was denied procedural protection, which was his right under the federal Constitution." I think he was. Here we go. Identify the constitutional amendment in the Bill of Rights that is common in both Gideon versus Wainwright, so you should be pulling out your Gideon versus Wainwright Supreme Court case, and Betts versus Brady. So, what is it, Jordan? The Sixth Amendment. And what is the Sixth Amendment, Jordan? The right to counsel. Okay, so B. Explain how the decision in Gideon versus Wainwright relates to the reasoning in Justice Black's dissenting opinion in Betts versus Brady. So, only you need to do is look at the back of Gideon versus Wainwright, and it will tell you, or the bottom, I guess it's the bottom. So, how does the decision in Gideon versus Wainwright relate to the reasoning in... There you go. See ya.
We have 5 more minutes.
Yeah, I know.